Welcome to another reaction video to my channel. We'll be talking about Francesca Albanese responding to this pro-Israeli, pro-Zionist reporter live on camera. Before I play the video, if you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Let's play the video.
You said since its establishment, Israel has treated occupied people, etc. Are you inferring that Israel's been an occupier since 1940?
Why do you have to infer instead of sticking to what I said?
And I'm asking, that's what's in there.
Let me elaborate.
Okay.
Israel has taken, and I can concede that it has done it with the recognition of the General Assembly, from a human rights law point of view, and as I take a people-centered approach, I cannot forget it. The creation of the State of Israel has meant the dispossession of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who have been kicked out of their homes and never allowed to return. Why so? And does it make it an occupier? It makes a state. It makes of Israel a state who has forcibly displaced a significant part of the native population. And this is the past that has never been addressed. The Palestinians with Israeli citizenship who remained in Israel have been kept for 2 decades under military rule, and this is why when I say an encumbrance, I was not even referring to them, but as you ask, I mean, this is documented, so it's not debatable. It's history. And since 1967, which is what I'm most interested in because of the mandate I have, Israel has continued these practices, has extended the custodianship system that had been used to take control of all the properties left behind by the Palestinian refugees, but without time limit. So from 1967, I think this is Military Order 58, one of the early military orders, Israel has been able to seize and acquire all the property left behind by the Palestinians. The 350,000 were forcibly displaced outside the occupied Palestinian territory in 1967, and the hundreds of thousands who have been kicked out of their homes and lands ever since. So there's been a continuity. So it's not just about what has been happening in the occupied Palestinian territory for the past 57 years. It's the fact that, unfortunately, there is a continuity with patterns of conduct that had already been enacted in modern-day Israel.
I'm not sure that answers the question, but it will have to suffice. One other question for you, because I know my colleagues want to jump in here. You know about the controversy surrounding your positions and your statements. I'm not going to repeat them here, but you did comment on social media within the past week. I'm going to read this back. You said, "I'm profoundly committed to human rights for all people. How could I ever be an anti-Semite?" A few days ago, you were supposed to have a briefing with members of Congress. That briefing was canceled. Don't know if the Jewish lobby was behind it or not, but... Oh,
you said Jewish lobby?
Jewish lobby.
Out, because it's very anti-Semitic, apparently.
It is. I
didn't use it. You did.
Don't know who you feel was behind it. In any case, you appeared, and your appearance there was sponsored by a group called Code Pink. You appeared in a video with the co-founder of Code Pink. Code Pink, well-documented, shills for some of the world's worst human rights violators. Maduro, Iran, where they appeared with Holocaust deniers. They deny the genocide going on in China of the Uyghur population, completely deny it. How can you say, appearing with a group like that, that you stand and are committed for human rights for all people and are not an anti-Semite? This group is drawn to you, and you happily appear with them while they shill for human rights abusers all over the world and only focus in on Israel.
According to this principle, I shouldn't be asking questions from journalists, for example, unless I check their pedigree. And I explained to you, because I was not at an event hosted by Code Pink. Check your sources, because this is not correct. I was hosted...
Correct. You appeared in a video with the co-founder.
Can I finish?
Sure you can.
I was speaking at an event organized by Buzz Boys and Poets, a venue where I've always attended wonderful talks. Then if they have hosted people who have terrible records, I don't know, but I wouldn't feel responsible. And as I was on my way out and looking at the murales, Medea from Code Pink approached me and said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Of course, do you mind being on record?" Of course not. And that is it. Now, do you want to add on the allegations against me because I answer a question to Medea Benjamin, or do I have to do a background check of any person I talk to
you have no idea who Code Pink is?
Of course,
have no prior contact with them?
Of course, I know who Code Pink is, but I don't. Apparently, I'm not as informed as you are. Thank you for educating me.
That's part of my job as a journalist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefano Vaccara, La Voce di New York, Editorial Press. I'm sorry because I arrived I think you had started already a few minutes, so I don't know if you talked about it, but I heard about when you were talking about the Israeli government accusing you to be anti-Semitism, but here of anti-Semitism. But did you respond? Did you respond to that tweet that Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield wrote yesterday? She wrote that as a UN Special Rapporteur Albanese visits New York, I want to reiterate the US believes she is unfit for a role. The United Nations should not tolerate anti-Semitism from a UN-affiliated official hired to promote human rights. This is the ambassador of the United States at the United Nations. What's your response to
I have the same shock that you have looking at how the United States is behaving in this context, in the context of the genocide that is unfolding in
I find it very, very shocking that United States, the country that vetoed a ceasefire deal at the UN for how many times? 10 times, I think, is now talking about how a person from UN is not helping with the situation in Gaza and being an anti-Semite. This is something very shocking, but I think if you take a look at what US is doing at UN and what they're saying, what Donald Trump's administration is saying about the whole situation in Gaza and how they're helping Israel to commit and continue this genocide, I don't think anything is shocking anymore, but this is something people should be aware of, the double standard, the hypocrisy of United States, calling out people like Francesca Albanese, who is standing up for the people of Palestine from day one as someone who is dangerous, who doesn't care about human rights, and who is an anti-Semite.
Gaza. I'm not surprised that they attack anyone who speaks to the facts that are frankly on our watch in Gaza, and they do that so brutally because they feel called out, because it's not that the United States is simply an observer. The United States is being an enabler in what Israel has been doing. So of course they have a conflict of interest in this, let's say, orchestrating attacks against anyone who criticizes Israel. But besides this, I really don't feel comfortable at entertaining any longer discussions concerning the attacks against me, because it's not about me and I'm not the story. The story is the fact that there are Palestinians who risk to be erased from their land. The questions that journalists should ask, I mean, this is what I would expect. How do you comment on the fact that Israel has passed laws that outlaw a UN organization? Because other member states who have even a worse record than Israel could do the same. The human rights record than Israel could do the same. Or how do I comment the fact that Israel there has been a plan to erase Palestinian presence from northern Gaza, and the fact that Israel is freely talking about going back to Gaza and reoccupy Gaza, while the International Court of Justice has recognized that the occupation is illegal and must go. Unequivocally and totally. This is what I want to talk about, because if we keep on entertaining discussions on is she an anti-Semite or not, I'm sorry. Think what you want of me. I will do my job until I have this mandate, and that is it.
Just a quick follow-up.
This is nothing new, because every time you call out the action of the Israeli genocide in Gaza, and the time you call out United States for being complicit and supporting and taking active part in this genocide, they will direct all the attacks on you. It is no more what US is doing, what Israel is doing in Gaza. It is about you, because you spoke about it, because you have protested against it. They will label you as anti-Semite. They will label you as a supporter of terrorism. They will ban you. They will kick you out. Now, I'm pretty sure that Francesca Albanese, she is getting threat letters for her life and also for her job, because as United States ambassador clearly accused her of being anti-Semite, I'm pretty sure that they're working behind closed doors to fire her, to make her go away from UN. I think the effort is pretty much ongoing. But again, Francesca Albanese is not someone who will just bow down to all of these pressures from US. I mean, can you imagine a woman a lady fighting not just against Israeli genocide, but also the most powerful nation on earth, which is United States at UN in New York. This is something very, very courageous, very much commendable from Francesca Albanese. She is really the lady, the woman, the Iron Woman, and the woman who is standing up always for justice, truth, and equality, and also for human rights.
Just to say that this is about what you have to cover, in the sense, if I understood you saying basically don't focus on me, focus on what I denounce in my reports and so on. But if I understand that a special rapporteur is effective or could be effective if it maintains if appears, not only his, but appears neutral, or they can talk to both sides. So for now, we're seeing that U.S. ambassador in his personal tweet, it's a tweet attacking you. So my simple question, and it's not a personal question, it's about your work as a rapporteur.
Yeah.
In the last, let's say, 1 year, could you have done something different? Do you think you could have done something different to maintain your, to be more effective in be able to talk to both sides?
But that's a very stupid question, because she is tied up. Her hands are tied up. She can do nothing, because every time UN bringing a resolution, every time UN is addressing the issue in Gaza, the genocide, they get pushed back by United States, and fighting against United States in of itself is a war. It can take a huge toll on your mental well-being, and also you need resources, you need power and influence, and you have none, because United States, they control UN, and all of these countries that you see sitting at UN, all these agents or representatives, they are sitting ducks. They are absolutely not effective whatsoever.
You seem to be someone who measures effectiveness in talking to both sides, and I don't even understand who both sides are. So can you be more specific on who are the both sides?
I'm talking as a journalist. I'm not talking as
I know, but you asked me
as a
questions,
journalist.
you use
Say
words.
that we see, if we do a research, we as a journalist have to quote our source and everything. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, your name now, when we quote in our article, because according to the report that Albanese wrote, unfortunately, you are considered, not by me, but by what happened in the situation that we have also that, I don't remember Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield do an attack like this for anybody on Twitter. Unfortunately, it doesn't make your work, your reports, and what you're denouncing any more effective.
But this is your opinion. How do you measure effectiveness?
Well,
let's cut it short. First of all, there is an inaccuracy, and I have to be clear about that. And I don't want to put a spot on you, but
she completely shuts up this pro-Zionist, pro-Israel reporter. She is so brave.
Because and thank you for that. It gives me the opportunity to clarify. But an independent expert of the United Nations with a human rights monitoring mandate is not requested to be neutral. It's requested to be impartial. It's different. Tell me how I am partial, because I am the only special rapporteur who has investigated violations of international law committed by Hamas in my second report and the Palestinian Authority. And I've tried to visit the prisons run by the Palestinian Authority, and I was prevented from doing so by Israel, and who prevented my visit. And if you look at the terms of reference of my resolution, of the resolution creating this mandate, my mandate obliges me to look at the violations committed by Israel. So when you say talk to both parties, but I understand what you're trying to say. I should maintain a position that allows me to be listened to by all member states. And this is what I've done until March this year. I've had the discussions with everyone. In March, already 30,000 Palestinians had been killed, and it was clear that it was not in the horizon that this would stop. And again, I speak, what do? I tell the facts, and I point to the responsibilities of member states. Of course, member states are not pleased with it. So I don't particularly I'm not sensitive to the fact that any ambassador criticizes my work. It seems that there is also some misinformation about the work of Special Rapporteur. The Special Rapporteur on Iran receives criticism by Iran. The Special Rapporteur on Myanmar receives criticism by Myanmar. Yeah. What is unique here is that Israel is the only state that is absolutely protected and cocooned by most of the West, what Craig Mohiber calls the settler colonial bloc.
Absolutely, unbelievable response from Francesca Albanese. One more time, commendable job. Subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.